Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today let's go over a premium hard question in the database category that I just solved on my own. So I'm super happy about this and I'm very glad that I was able to come up with my own solution to this question without any assistance. So let's go over it and let me show you how I did it. This is number 1336, number of transactions per visit. So basically what this question is asking you to do is you have the key thing to pay attention here is to find how many users visited the bank and didn't do any transactions and did one transaction. So that's the key here. And if you look at the picture, what that means is 0 is 4. Why? Because there are exactly 4 composite keys that are not inside of the transactions table, that the number of users. And then for 1, for example, that would be 5 because this is... or let's see what's going on. So these two are inside of here, and if you count them, there will be 5 of them because that's another 2, and then this is the 5th one. So for each transaction. Okay, so basically let's just go ahead and create a default dict using the composite keys for both so we can compare them. So default dict of integer, and IV and enumerate visits, visit date. So the user ID and the visit date is V, or visits, user ID of I, and then V. And so we can just say VD of UID VDD plus equals to 1, and do the same thing in the transactions table. So let's just do user ID, and let's say the user ID, and then the transaction date, transactions, transaction date of I. Okay, so we're looking at each row here, just these two, and then TD of UID trans D plus equals to 1. Cool. So now where does this 3 come from? If you print the transaction dict, you'll notice that that's actually the maximum value, the maximum key. So if you notice 3 here is the maximum. So the biggest is just going to be max of td.values. Okay, so now what we want to do is just go through to biggest plus 1 from 0 to 3. So just using this picture sort of as a guiding point. And now what we want to do is find how many transactions are basically not inside for 0. Because, for example, for V and VD, if V is not in the transaction dict, then let's print 0 and V. So let's see here. So the user ID, okay, so the VD UID VDD plus equals to 1, yep. So how about this? If for T and TD, if TD of T is equal to I, then let's print I and TD of T. I think that's what we're looking for. Okay, cool. So you can see 1 happens 5 times, 3 happens once. And in that case, if so how do we make sure that this is not inside? So I guess, so the visits count. So if I is equal to 0, then we can just say for V and VD, if V is not in TD, then let's just create a counter, C of I plus equals to 1, and then C of I plus equals to TD of T. Okay, so let's go ahead and print our counter. Okay, so that's not correct. So 3. So if, yeah, let's print VD and TD. So if it didn't happen, I guess the other thing is just for I in range to biggest plus 1, if I is not in C, then C of I is equal to 0 because 2 and 0, but 0 as the transactions count just means that, let's just say for T and TD, if T is not in VD, I might have gotten it backwards here. So number of users who visited and didn't do any transactions. So for V in VD, if V is not in TD, then let's print V. That should be it. So what the heck? Oh, okay. So then, yeah, we can just count them. You see how there are 4 entries, but they're repeating. So let's just say 0. So Z of 0 dot add V of 0. Let's go ahead and print Z. Default dict of set. Okay. That's not correct. That's weird. So 1 is supposed to have 5, but why is 3 having 3? So something is going wrong here. Let's print VD and TD. So we're just counting how many are, yeah, for T and TD, if TD of T is equal to I, then we print I TD of T, right? Yeah, exactly. So for this, it happens once, yep, and then this one happens 5 times. So maybe we can just say Z of I plus equals to 1, or C of I plus equals to 1. Okay, cool. So now we have exactly what we need. Cool. So, all right. So now that we have that, we can just say if it's not in there, then now let's print C. And then C of 0 is equal to length of Z of 0. This is probably not the best way to do it, but that gets the job done. And then now we just want to gather the results. Okay, so for A, B, and C, the items, I'm just strictly using this picture and the examples as a guiding point. So that's usually a good idea. And then answer.sort by the transaction date, which it says right there, or transactions count, which it says right there. So, okay. So now, let's just go ahead and make the data frame 1 and 2 for A and answer. 1.append A0, 2.append A1, filling both the columns, top to bottom, setting the transactions count column to 1, visits count to 2, and then we just return the data frame. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so if TD even has any values, then we do this, run this. Okay, submit it. Otherwise, let's return an empty data frame. But then there are a couple edge cases. So you notice that this, so if otherwise, we just want to say whatever the size of is just length of visits user ID, and then we just put results empty data frame, results of transactions count. I wish there was an autofill feature. It's really annoying to have to type all of this. Equals to 0. Visits count is equal to size. Return result. Cool. So just copying this test case. Okay, so let's run this. Submit it. Okay, so looks like 0 has some bugs. Okay, so jeez. Maybe we don't even need this. Because, oh, why is it visits count as 0? So, I guess for the 0 one, this is really annoying. Let's just, so for v and vd, if v is not in td, let's print v. Okay, so then let's call this c of 0 plus equals to 1. Okay, submit it. And there you go. Passes all test cases. So again, I'm super happy that I was able to come up with my own solution to this question without any assistance and solve it completely on my own. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.